In the dead of night, during the darkest hours of World War II, the skies over the Eastern Front held a unique terror for the German forces. It wasn't the roar of a heavy bomber or the scream of a dive bomber that they feared most. It was a soft, whooshing sound like a broom sweeping through the air. This was the sound of the Night Witches. They were officially the 588th Night Bomber Regiment, an all-female unit of the Soviet Air Forces. But to the soldiers on the ground, they were known by a more chilling name: Nachthexen, the Night Witches. These young women, most barely out of their teens, flew missions in planes that were little more than crop dusters made of plywood and canvas. The Polikarpov Po-2 biplane was obsolete, slow, and fragile. It offered no armor, no radio, and no parachutes in the early days. It was a flying coffin. But in the hands of these pilots, it became a ghostly, deadly weapon. Imagine this: it's pitch black. You're a German soldier huddled in a trench. Suddenly, you hear the faint flutter of wind. The sound gets closer, an eerie whisper overhead. Before you can react, bombs rain down from the darkness. You fire your anti-aircraft guns, but the tracers just tear through the night, hitting nothing. The plane is already gone, melting back into the shadows. This was their tactic. They would fly in groups, approaching their targets under the cover of darkness. Near the target zone, they'd cut their engines and glide in silence, releasing their bombs with terrifying precision before restarting their engines and vanishing. The sound of their gliding approach earned them their spooky nickname. The regiment was the brainchild of Marina Raskova, a celebrated Soviet aviator known as the Soviet Amelia Earhart. When Germany invaded the Soviet Union in 1941, thousands of women volunteered to fight. Raskova used her influence with Stalin to persuade him to form 3 all-female air combat units. The 588th was one of them. These weren't just pilots. The entire regiment, from navigators and mechanics to armorers and ground crew, was female. They faced skepticism and mockery, not just from the enemy, but from their own male counterparts. They were given hand-me-down uniforms and inadequate equipment. But their determination was unbreakable. Life for a night witch was brutal. They flew exclusively at night, regardless of the weather. Freezing temperatures would numb their hands and feet in their open cockpits. Frostbite was a constant enemy. They often flew 8 or more missions in a single night, returning to their makeshift airfields only to refuel, rearm, and take off again. The Po-2 could only carry 2 bombs at a time, strapped under its wings. This meant they had to make multiple trips to inflict significant damage, multiplying their risk each time. The danger was immense. Their wooden planes were highly flammable. A single tracer bullet could turn them into a fireball. If caught by a German night fighter like the Messerschmitt Bf 110, they stood almost no chance. The German pilots who managed to shoot one down were awarded the prestigious Iron Cross, yet they persisted. They learned to use their plane's weaknesses as strengths. The Po-2's maximum speed was slower than the stall speed of the German fighters, making it an incredibly difficult target to shoot down. The Night Witches could maneuver sharply at low altitudes, flying through trees and along ravines where the faster, heavier German planes couldn't follow. They were ghosts, masters of the night sky. Their targets were varied: rear echelon bases, supply depots, troop concentrations, and artillery batteries. Their relentless harassment missions were designed to disrupt and demoralize the enemy, denying them rest and keeping them in a constant state of anxiety. And they were devastatingly effective. One of the most decorated pilots was Nadezhda Popova. On one night, her plane was riddled with bullets, forcing her to make an emergency landing. Undeterred, she counted over 42 bullet holes in her plane, her helmet, and her map. She simply patched it up and flew again that same night. Another pilot, Rufina Gasheva, was shot down multiple times but always found her way back to her unit, sometimes trekking for days through enemy territory. These women were not just soldiers. They were heroes, driven by a fierce love for their homeland and a burning desire to defeat the invaders. They decorated their flimsy planes with flowers and used their navigation pencils as eyeliner, holding on to their humanity in the midst of war's inhumanity. By the end of the war, the Night Witches had flown over 24,000 combat missions and dropped more than 23,000 tons of bombs. They were the most highly decorated female unit in the Soviet Air Force, with dozens of its members awarded the title of Hero of the Soviet Union. 32 of their pilots never returned. They flew until the very last days of the war, their final mission taking place over Berlin itself. They had proven to the world that courage and skill have no gender. Their legacy, however, was nearly lost to history. overshadowed in the post-war years. But their story is one that deserves to be told. The story of ordinary young women who became legends of the night sky, their quiet gliding planes a symbol of silent, deadly resistance against a powerful foe. They were the Nachthexen, the night witches, and their whisper will echo through history forever. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the past. If you found this story as inspiring as we do, please like this video, subscribe to our channel for more hidden histories, and hit the notification bell. We'll see you next time, comrade.